considering joining Lebara Mobile. In this video, we've reviewed Lebara to see if they're any good. We've assessed this mobile network based on their value for money, customer service, roaming, and more, to see if you should join them. Before we begin, if you're looking for a smartphone on a contract or a SIM-only deal, click the link in the description to come to our comparison site. We've compared the cheapest SIM-only plans and phone contracts on the market from all the major providers, including Lebara, so you can see which is the best value for money for the phone or SIM you're considering buying. Let's begin. So who are Lebara and what do they do? Lebara is a mobile network virtual operator that uses Vodafone infrastructure. They don't have their own masts, like O2, Vodafone 3 and EE do. Instead, they rent network access through Vodafone. They buy data in bulk and then focus on selling SIM-only deals for a cheaper price than what you can get through Vodafone directly. Lebara is hyper-focused on SIM-only at the moment. They don't have any phones on a contract. They just sell SIM-only deals, either on a month-to-month pay-as-you-go basis or on a 12-month contract. If you want to save a bit of money and don't mind locking in, unlimited UK minutes and texts are included by default, as well as 5G connectivity. So speaking of 5G, what are Lebara's speeds and coverage like? To find out, we have to look at the performance of Vodafone because they're the network that Lebara is using. So according to this research from Ookla, which is the company that runs speedtest.net, Vodafone has the second fastest average 5G speeds in the UK. So if you get 5G, and obviously you have a 5G enabled phone, your speeds should be pretty good with Lebara. In terms of 4G, Vodafone and therefore Lebara are about the middle of the road. Their coverage is good, but not as good as EE, but it's also not as bad as O2, and their 4G speeds are pretty average. Not great, not amazing, but for everyday sort of activities like making calls, watching videos, and downloading apps, Lebara performs pretty well. To find out what speeds and coverage you can expect from Lebara, come to their website and go to their coverage checker. Then put in your postcode and use the selectors on the left to see what the 5G and 4G coverage is like in your street. And you also might like to check other areas, such as at work and around town. You can see here in London, Vodafone's 5G is really good, so you should get pretty good speeds with Lebara. Just if we go to somewhere like Cambridge, their 5G is a lot more patchy, and it's just centered in this eastern area over here. But if we click on 4G, you can see the coverage is pretty good throughout the whole city. So it's definitely worth using the coverage map to get a better idea of what speeds and signal you can expect from Lebara in your area. Lebara's roaming allowances are one of its biggest strengths. In the EU, roaming is basically inclusive on all of their plans. In most European countries, you can use your entire allowance up to 30 GB a month, and if you need to go above that, they also have these handy roaming add-ons you can choose to buy. But it's not just EU countries where you can get inclusive roaming with Lebara. It's the same in India. You can use up to 30 GB of your allowance, just like at home. In other countries like Turkey, Australia, and the United States, you'll need to buy one of these roaming add-ons. Although they cost a fair bit, we actually like these add-ons quite a lot. A lot of other providers, when they sell these roaming add-ons, they make them daily passes, but nobody goes to a certain country for just a day most of the time. With Lebara, it's better because you can choose between 8 days or 15 days. And for travel purposes, the amount of data is pretty good. As long as you're not constantly watching videos, these data allowances are plenty, and they don't cost too much either in most countries. So is Lebara good value for money? It depends on the promotions they're currently running, but generally, we think Lebara is pretty good value. These prices might not always be the cheapest on the market, but they are pretty competitive. So let's look at unlimited data on a 30-day plan. So we'll come to greensmartphones.com, go to the SIM-only section, and then use the filters over here to only display unlimited deals with a 1-month contract. So the cheapest on the market is about £15 or £16 a month through one of these resellers like EasySave or Carphone Warehouse on the ID mobile network, which uses 3. With Lebara, it's £25 a month, so it's a bit more expensive, but with Lebara, you get inclusive international minutes, which most other SIM plans don't have, as well as their really good roaming allowances. So Lebara can offer good value for money, but they're not always the cheapest. Remember, come to greensmartphones.com, then click on SIM only up here to see if Lebara offers good value for money when you're shopping for a SIM only deal. So every so often, Ofcom does a big customer survey of people using major mobile networks in the UK. They look at customer complaints and also sometimes things like how long it takes to get in touch with them when you call them on the phone, or overall satisfaction with the service. The problem is Lebara isn't quite big enough to be included in these surveys just yet. But if you go to Lebara's UK page on Trustpilot, they perform pretty well. And from digging into these reviews, we didn't find anything concerning. They respond to reviews, which is good, meaning they pay attention when customers complain. We didn't find any patterns of things often going going wrong when looking through their negative reviews. So ultimately, we think Lebara has pretty good customer service, better than some of the major networks. But if you're with Lebara at the moment, let us know what you think about their customer service in the comments below. So should you join Lebara Mobile? We think they're a good choice if you want a cheap SIM-only deal, and the Vodafone network has good coverage where you live. They're an especially good choice if you want good roaming allowances, where most other providers don't provide free roaming. Remember, to see if Lebara offers good value given how much data you need, come to greensmartphones.com and then use the monthly data filter on the left here. And if you have any questions about Lebara or choosing a mobile network, leave a comment below and we'll respond as soon as we can.